People of the Purple Butterfly here, otherwise known as People of 7 on Twitter and YouTube, People are elsewhere on the internet. My blog is located at purplebutterfly-people.blogspot.com. My soaps, Purple Butterfly Soaps, can be located at people.etsy.com. And my t-shirt designs, purplebutterfly-people.tmail.com. And I'm here to do a soap collab, hashtag 2020 YT soap collab flower power, in which you must have the color green. So I took Lucky Green and Emerald Green and mixed the two together because Lucky Green is far too light and Emerald is in the right color shade, but it tends to morph into something dark or gray or whatever. So I figured if I mix the two together, maybe I'll get something in the shade of green that's stable enough to, make the really light green calm down a little bit, and maybe the dark green won't escape. And then one other color, such as pink, orange, or purple. So I have a red, which is the true red orange. That's the one that keeps turning to orange and turning to a red. It does everything except for what I want it to do. So we'll see what it does. I have Passion Orange. I have Patagonian Purple, which might turn to Cranberry Red because Patagonian Purple is not stable in live. You have to have a natural component. I chose to make the natural component and the green component the same component. So I'm putting some basil in there. Basil is amazing for skin. And then they suggested a floral scent. It's not a rule that says you have to have floral scent, but they suggest a floral scent. This is Hawaiian Sandalwood. It's the closest I have to a floral. It's a herbal, earthy type scent. Sandalwood is a flower. It's just not a flowery in your face like roses type flower. Also, it needs to either be piped or embedded or both. I'm piping. I have a rose tip, a leaf tip, and a rosette tip. I have an itchy scalp too. Hold on. I got my lye water already over there. I'm using lard, coconut oil, and canola oil because it needs to be a slow moving soap to do all the piping and all that. Slow moving is automatically lard in my opinion. You can use coconut, but if you are running the risk of stuff accelerating or speeding up or whatever, you want something that's going to slow that down. Lard takes a long time to solidify. So any slow moving soap, unless somebody specifically says must be vegan or don't put meat oil such as tallow or lard or any kind of animal in my soap, then I'm going to use lard. And those that buy from me that are vegan, they already know. Look at the Etsy site and see if it says vegetarian, see if it says vegan, see if it says animal based, because I always put that information on my soaps. Because, yeah, today we're using lard and canola oil and coconut oil. And let's see. Use the hashtag. I already went over that. And the color green. So what's going to happen, I'm going to show you these two greens. This is Lucky Green. This is Emerald Green. The emerald tends to get ghost on me. But isn't that a beautiful green? Hold on. And this tends to be too light on me. So I figure if I mix the two together, maybe I'll get something in the middle. If it does morph while I'm in the process of trying to pipe it or whatever, I'll throw some coral reef blue in there, you know, just for good measure so the green doesn't quite escape. Yeah. Now, all that being said, this is the sloppiest I've ever done everything because I literally put everything here where it could be seen, but that's not the way I do things. I usually measure out my oils, put it in this, heat it up, then measure out my colorants, add it from the oil, or if I'm using aquamarine, add some water. Then I do, you know, everything is done a certain way, and I was basically excited about telling you about the challenge, so I kind of went out of my normal spirit of the way I do things, and it's about to frustrate me, so I need to fix that immediately. So I'll just go ahead and measure my oils. Turn that on. I also adjusted my recipe because that way I have enough. I'd rather have too much soap as opposed to not enough, especially when you're making something like piping and all that. So let's see. We need 24 ounces of canola. Two, 3, 2, 4. There we go. Actually, it says 4.2, but 0.2 is no big whoop. Okay, now I'm going to need 4 ounces of coconut oil. And see, I knew this was almost gone, so I went ahead and measured how much I had versus how much I needed and adjusted my recipe accordingly. And then I decided to go out, treat myself to a movie, saw Sonic the Hedgehog. Go see that. Trust me. That was a good time. And while I was coming out of the movie theater, I realized there was a Kroger's directly across the street from the cinema. So I went on ahead and bought the amount of coconut oil I need. But in the meantime, I had already wrote out the recipe, so we're going to go with that. Now, 4 ounces. The one thing I like about solid oils is you can go ahead and put whatever you need. And if you get too much in there, you can pull it right out. So that's how I do that. See, 2.9. But I think this is right at 4 ounces or just under 4 ounces. 4.8. Ah, well, surprised myself. Let's go ahead and subtract. Okay, now it says 3.7. That's too much. Okay, 4.2. Let's just do a little scrapey off the side there. 4 exactly, yeah. Now, next needed is 16 ounces of lard. I always get Moro snow-capped lard because it comes in a 16-ounce container. And all the other lards I've seen are 2 pounds and higher. And it reflects in the price. This is $1.78. Nope, $1.87. Got the numbers right, I just got it in the wrong order. I am dyslexic, that happens. That's why I always double check everything. I'm also OCD, so I can't not double check everything because I'll drive myself back just obsessing over whether or not I measured it properly. Did you measure it at all? How are you going to let yourself not measure something and so forth? I mean, my brain does that to me. It works. Alrighty then. Let's break out all these little extra little pieces. And another thing I like about the Morphed Snow Cap Lard is it's in this parchment paper. So say for instance I don't feel like opening it up and scraping it out, so forth so on. I just literally put the container, paper and all in my bucket, heat it up, then just extract the paper. And it will still come out to exactly 16 ounces. Because that's what it weighs. I'll poke a couple holes in here so that way when I heat it up, it will melt quicker. Yep. Now, I'm going to just pour a little bit of these canola into the color cups. It'll reintegrate when it's time to saponify the oils. But now, I'm done. All I gotta do now is clean up this huge colossal mess I've made. Heat that up. Let it cool down. And all of this is while I'm waiting for my lye water to cool down. So basically, I'm not in a rush. I can always pause the video and bring it back. Or if the video's been acting the way it's been acting lately, just literally stop the video and restart. So, yeah. But anyway, my lye water is at 170 degrees, and of course my oils are at 71 because they haven't been heated up yet. It has to be melted and then brought back to room temperature. So, yeah. And this scent, I've used it once before. I'm going with a really rusty memory, but as far as I know, it has no vanillin in it, which means it won't discolor, and it doesn't accelerate. If it does, I will be surprised, but I will also keep going, because you know I got that stubborn spirit. In the meantime, let's stick this in here. Oh, that's another thing somebody asked me, and I'm going to answer that question now that I'm thinking about it, because otherwise I will never answer it because I won't think about it, so I won't remember. This used to be my soap bucket that I got for free, because this is what I bought my coconut oils in, and this is what I, subsequently use as a soap bucket. When I melt my oil, somebody said, how come you don't just put it in there? Why you have two separate buckets? Well, first of all, this is a metal handle. And it's in there really good. There's no way to get that out of there without, compromising the works. But also, even if it wasn't a metal handle, it doesn't fit in my microwave. So basically I melt my oils in there, and if I need a higher volume than what I'm using, I just pour them in here. Like when I'm making soaps that's 5 pounds, 8 pounds, whatever, it's going in here instead of in the little smaller bucket, for the simple fact that it needs to fit, you know. So it's fine to melt my oils in this. Ouch. It's fine to melt my oils in this container, but when I add the live water and everything, there's not going to be enough room. So that's why I do it that way. Let's give this 3 minutes. That should be enough. In the meantime, this has been People of 7 on Twitter and YouTube. People elsewhere on the internet. Ouch. I need to put on a bonnet. I braided my hair down so it would stop snagging, and it snagged me anyway. It caught the braid even. But anyway, heating up my oils, letting my live water continue to cool. I'm thinking I'm going to add the fragrance oil at the very last minute, just in case it accelerates. I'm also going to look up the scent, because Rustic Essentials usually tell you whether or not it's accelerated or whatever. They're not as extensive as Nature's Garden in that regard, but they are working on it, and they are very accurate for the information they do give. So basically, I'm going to let everything finish doing what it needs to do, and then I'll bring you back. So this has been People of 7 on Twitter and YouTube, People elsewhere on the internet. My blog is located at PurpleButterfly-People.blogspot.com. My soaps, Purple Butterfly Soaps, can be located at People.etsy.com, and my t-shirt designs, PurpleButterfly-People.tmail.com. Y'all stay blessed to stay tuned. I'm going to finish my preparations. That does not have enough oil in it. And then I'll bring you back. Bye now. Let's see, where's that pause button? Okay, wait on the oils to cool down. And I took and sprinkled the basil leaves in here. Usually I would stick it in the blender and make it a powder, but yeah, didn't do that this time. Mainly because the smoothie attachment to the blender is unavailable at the moment. Something was blended in it and then subsequently stored in that container, and I didn't want to dump it out. So yeah, and then the main component part of the blender, you know, the big thing, that would just be a big old mess to take out a great big blender to blend up half a container of this. But I did just knock over half of my colorant. When you get a chance, look on Amazon for these coughs called Skoy, S-K-O-Y. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. They're amazing. That was oil and soap coloring I spilled. It picked it all up. One swipe. There's not even soap in it yet. I literally just wet it. Didn't add soap. I was going to get around to the soap later. It's made of cellulose and wood pulp and all that stuff. And They're amazing. Now, the soap coloring didn't really wash off of there, but hey, soap coloring that doesn't survive soap, you kind of don't want. You know, they come in a 4-pack for like $6, and they're biodegradable, earth friendly. When they finally wear out, you know, just get some more because they're inexpensive. There. Now I can go behind this spill with some Dawn, make sure that it's all up and everything. And I can see a little bit of redness in that Patagonian purple. It hasn't even been introduced to lye yet, but it's already trying to turn red on me. But it is one of my favorite colors. And basically it has range. When it's not turning purple in other things like melting pour, whatever, it's turning cranberry red in other things. So it still works out for me. I'm just going to go ahead and pour that in there. And that was the last of it, so I can't just add more because some of it spilled. So basically, I'm going to try to get as much of it out of this container as possible and into the soap pot. Actually, I'm going to use this scraper. All the oils are melted. I'm about to put it in the refrigerator and let it cool down some more. The thing about using lard and coconut oil, once it's melted, if it starts to cloudy up and cool down faster, it doesn't matter. It's already integrated into your soap formula, so you don't even have to worry about if it's going to cause an issue. Once it's melted down, it's in there. So, yeah. So then you just go ahead and cool it down and soap is normal. But right now, I'm going to get as much of the Patagonian purple out of here as possible. Because that was the last of it. I had bought some basic samples from TKB Trading, along with a few favorites, and to my surprise, Patagonian purple was in there. It's like, oh look, an old favorite. Now, when I went to directly buy Patagonian purple, they were sold out of it, so I was real happy to see that it made it to the sample pack. There we go. I need my other spatulas. Yeah. I generally like to have everything in their own spatula, so that way I don't have to worry about colors getting compromised and all that. Okay. Well, the color is literally in the basil, but that's fine. I'm also going to use it to scrape off the sides and get all those little bits of the color into my basil. Now, when it comes time to stick blend this, the basil will do what the blender that wasn't available couldn't do, and that will break it up into itty bitty little bit chunks. My stick blender has 2 speeds, and I can literally pulverize this into a powder. So that's why I wasn't worried about it. And yes, I speak from experience. The chocolate and basil soap, that's how I did it. I used it as a colorant, and it came out as a speckled green, because, you know, it just worked, trust me. Yeah, that'll work. I forgot I was going to leave it in there, so wiped it off and put it right back in there. I do stuff like that sometimes. Let's see. Next up is the red and the orange. Okay. We're going to go with the orange first. I need to find the other 2 of these. Or just a different spatula, because this one, I forgot. Most of my spatulas are silicone. This was plastic, and one day in the middle of soaping, I left it in there, and it did that, and got stiff and rigid, and that's when we found out it wasn't safe for soaping. And in fact, it just kind of, the one I had next to it, you know, the bigger one, because that was a set of a tall and a small, it crumbled. So basically, I don't use it except for to mix the oils. But if it's going to be something that's going to actually come in physical contact with the lye, we don't use that particular spatula. It's just not good. I like my spatulas that have a rubber tip or a silicone. Yeah. Come out there, lovely. You can do it. I might add a little bit of oil and scrape that out some more, but for the most part, it's in here now. And this one almost didn't have enough oil added to it, so it's kind of dry at the bottom of the cup. So we'll just go ahead and pour some in. That'll work. While I'm thinking about it, we'll do the same thing with this one. That way we get all the available colorant out of there. Waste not. Oops. And splash not on your favorite shirt. Okie dokie. I think I'm going to invest in some Clorox too. So that way, when I splash colorant on my shirt, the colorant does not wash out very easily. So I figure if I get a non-chlorine bleach or whatever, I can get the colorant off of my shirt without ruining the shirt. Yeah, see? Now that's empty. That's a lot better. Yeah, see? That's why it always pays to have spatulas available. Along with enough oil to make the transfer seamless. And see, I wanted more of this because one of the flowers is going to be a rose, and I want this color quite vibrant. I don't want it morphing into all these other colors that this true red orange turns into. Frankly, if it's a true, that means it's supposed to stay true, but that's not what it does. I've already spotted another red. Brambleberry has a red that's true. Doesn't morph, doesn't change color while you're using it. I have some here. I just don't know where. So I'm going to order more of that. Also, True Red. I'm going to make sure when I order something that says True, it's just going to have one color name on it. Instead of True Red Orange, it'll just say True Red. That way we don't have those issues that, hey, it turned orange this time. Hey, it turned red this time. Hey, it did this time. That's just annoying to me. Yeah. That's still hot. Frankly, it's too hot to have my hand right under, but anyway. Okay.